Hey, good evening. Welcome to this evening's episode of Quiz Your Biz. Just bear with me, I do not have my usual assistant, Miss Susan, today. Help me share this. So I'm just going to go. All right, you guys, I'm not going to share it. I've also done this to the tripod. It wouldn't open, so I tried to open it with brute force and broke it completely. So it's definitely not the most flattering angle. I just had to rest the tripod on the desk annoyingly. I see someone's watching. Who's that? Say hello. Oh, it's Robert. Hello. Robert, do you prefer Robert or Rob? I'll invite you onto the live stream in a minute. I'm just going to share this first. Robert or Rob? I have no idea. I've watched sort of use Robert right for sharing too. DLBN. Share core networking. Just sharing everything group. Say hello. I see there's a few of you watching already. Please do say hello. Let us know that you're there, so I'm not just sitting here chatting to myself. You do prefer Rob. Awesome, Rob. How to say your name now. Who else is there? Who is sneakily watching in the background? Rick Notley says it sounds a bit like I'm underwater. Oh, does it? Hey Rick, hey Joe. Can you guys hear me okay? It sounds like I'm underwater. Blah, 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 blah. I'm having to slouch down so you're not like looking up my nose. Horrible camera angle. Sounds bad here too. Thank you for the feedback. Let's see if it fixes itself when I bring Rob on. If not, I will start a new live stream. So please bear with me. Okay. Adding him in. Can you actually understand what I'm saying? Setting a fireworks. Hey.
All right.
Hey, I'm good. How do I sound? A few people have said that I sound like I'm underwater.
I can hear you fine. I don't know what other people are saying.
Okay, let's see. Can somebody who's watching let us know if my sound sorted itself out? Hey, Daniel Kidman, howdy doody. We'll get started in a sec, Bob. We just need to get this sorted. Someone, before we commence, someone who's watching, Rick says it's better now. That's good. That's good. Thank you, guys. Okay, Joe says it's better. Stephen's giving us a thumbs up. Awesome. Okay, Rob, so I'm just going to introduce the show for the sake of the podcast, and then we will take it away if that's okay. Okay, cool. Awesome. So, Rick says Rob fixed it. Yeah, give Rob all the credit. Thanks. Okay, cool. Hello and welcome to Quiz Your Biz, the bi-weekly show where we interview people to find out about their businesses and experiences, the top tips and inspiration on running your own business, and to learn other topics of interest. Have a listen today while I, Rachel Graham, interview Rob Leat about his personal training business, Robert Leat Fitness. At the end of this interview, he's going to be giving us his 3 top tips for fitting exercise and a healthy diet into a busy schedule. And to view any previous episodes or listen to the podcast, visit quizyourbiz.com or search for Quiz Your Biz on your podcast app. Excellent. Welcome, Rob.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's good to have you. It's good to have you. Thanks for coming. Just reading the comments, so someone says, nice singing, sounds fine, crack on. Mike says, oh, the beautiful Rob Leat. And voices are like a children's choir. Excellent. Well, I'm really excited to interview you today. So I don't know if all our viewers know, but I myself am a personal trainer. Rob here is a personal trainer, so we've got that in common. And I'm really looking forward to hearing your top tips around fitting in exercise and a healthy diet into a busy schedule, because I know that's what so many people struggle with. So I'm sure that the audience is going to be really excited for that. Awesome. So let's start off by finding out a little bit more about you and what you do. So can you tell us who are you?
So
what do you do?
I'm Rob, PT based in Bristol. Been a PT now for about the last 4 years, I think. Well, it'll be 4 years in February. So yeah, I've been doing it a few years now. Do like both one-to-one stuff in person, and I do online coaching a little bit as well. mostly tend to work with people who are sort of in like office type jobs that are sat at a desk all day. And what I typically do is I help them with coming up with ways that they can fit exercise into their busy schedule, and just kind of helping them to sort out their diet effectively is what I do.
Hmm. Awesome, awesome. So how did you get into that? Why did you start?
Um, Basically, it's because I've always sort of been quite active. I used to do a lot of sports. I used to be a I used to be a middle distance runner when I was younger. And then when it came to deciding what to do for like university, I decided to do a degree in health and fitness at the University of Bath. And then yeah, just decided to go down the route of personal training from there.
Wow, sounds like you're pretty highly qualified then.
Um, yeah, I do make an effort to try and go out and like increase my knowledge and make sure I'm up to date with what the latest info is.
Yeah, I know I've always said I believe that the personal training course, because just to qualify to be a personal trainer, I think is it's really basic, and I feel like to have the extra qualifications is really it's really good for you. It's really valuable because there's so much more that you
Yeah.
can learn that you don't learn in just a basic PT course, in my opinion. So I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think the PT course really teaches you enough. It teaches you like the bare minimum that you need in order to work with people. Like I think there's so much more to it that you learn sort of on the job in a sense of through working with people and then going out and doing further courses and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Daniel Kidman's in agreement. He says, here, here. So you and I both know that personal training is kind of, I'm assuming it's the same in your area. It's kind of a cutthroat business. There's so much competition. Is that the case around there? There's so much, over here, I could name a dozen other personal trainers in my area off the top of my head without any effort. Which again, I think is partly down to how easy it is to qualify. So why
Yeah.
should somebody use yourself instead of all that competition out there?
I think what sets me aside is like I don't make people do any like bullshit diets. Like I don't make them go really low carb. I don't make them starve themselves or anything like that. I just sort of tailor the approach to what works to the individual and give them things that kind of fit their lifestyle.
Mhm.
And the other thing as well is I like to keep an eye on what they're doing, not just when they have that hour with me a week. I like to know what they're doing the rest of the time.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I really like the approach of not giving a one size fits all. That's what I feel really strongly about as well personally, is everybody is different, aren't they?
Yeah,
And where you might find one person gets on really well with a low carb diet, other people are not. So I think that's really cool.
yeah, I
Awesome.
totally agree. Yeah, it's about finding what works for the individual. So low carb for some people, like you said, might work well. Others, tracking their calories might work better, or some people, intermittent fasting is probably a better approach.
I talk about this is what I talk about all the time. I agree with you so much. This is awesome. I'm enjoying talking to you.
Yeah.
So what is the next thing you're launching, or what are you offering right now? If somebody was watching this and they were thinking, "Oh, I'd quite like to work with him," what could you do for them?
Well, first thing I tend to do, people just jump on the phone and then just chat to them, find out about what it is that they want to do, and then from there, I'd just suggest either if they're local to me, they come in the gym and we do a session. If they're not, then we'd do like a coaching call, and then I'd find out whether they had access to a gym or whether they do their workouts at home, and then it'd be kind of like giving them sort of exercises to do either at home or at the gym.
Cool. And how do you guide somebody through a gym workout then? If so, this is kind of like your online coaching, isn't it? I'm assuming if they're not
Yeah.
local. So how do you guide somebody through a gym workout?
So if they're an online client, basically, I use I don't know if you're familiar with it, a platform called My PT Hub.
I've heard
So
of it.
basically, yeah, so basically, I give them their workouts through that, and then that gives them like videos of how to do the exercises, a little description as well of how to do the exercises, and then what they can do is they can log on there and say I've done this much weight, I've done this many reps, or for this many sets. So then I
Wow,
can see what they've done.
and that's all connected to
Yeah.
you. I didn't know much about it. That's kind of awesome. I might look into that myself.
Yeah, and just in terms of like writing programs for people, it saves a lot of time than trying to faff about with a spreadsheet, and then you got to go and search for a video online to attach as a hyperlink. So it's
Yeah.
just a lot easier if I just keep it all on this platform, which they then have on their phone. All they've got to do is go on their phone on the app, and then they've got their program there.
Fantastic. So do you work with people over like, do you do like a set package over a certain amount of time, or do you work with them weekly, or what's the situation if somebody did want to work?
Yeah, I mean, like in-person people, typically what I ask for is that they work with me for a minimum of 12 weeks, and then I see them for a set number of sessions. So once a week, twice a week, or 3 times a week, depending on what their budget and what their schedule allows them to do.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about a client journey, someone that you've helped? Have you got a good story that you can share with us there?
Yeah, I've got a client who, like, recently I shared his transformation on my Facebook page, and he basically has got a wedding coming up in March, and he came to me recently because obviously he's got his wedding coming up and wanted to lose a bit of weight so that he could fit into a slim fit suit by the time it was his wedding. So
Ah,
he's 6 weeks in, so he's about halfway through the 12 weeks, and he's lost about 5.5 kilos already. So another kilo,
wow.
and that's a full stone. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So how did you work with him? What was he doing?
So he only does one session a week with me at the gym, and then basically he's been doing sort of 3 or 4 sessions on his own. And typically, what I do in my program and what I'm a big fan of is like push pull legs with my splits, because they get every body part worked in 3 workouts then, which is a lot easier for most people to manage.
Yeah. Can you explain what push pull legs means for those that aren't gym savvy?
Yeah, so basically, push is any kind of pushing movement like that. So it tends to be chest, shoulders, and triceps. And then pull is like any kind of movement where you come in like back towards the body, or you're curling up like that. So that
Mm.
tends to be like back and bicep exercises. And then legs is obviously like leg exercises.
Yeah. So it's basically breaking up the workouts to do different things on different days, isn't it?
Yeah,
Awesome.
pretty
Cool.
much.
So just going to go back through some comments. So Daniel Kidman, so he's another personal trainer. He says, this was in response to me saying I could think of at least a dozen other PTs in the area. He said he's less than 20 miles from me. Becky Peachy said, I need something like my PT hub. She's a single mummy of 4 young ones, 8 and under. Sounds like a handful. And just returned to work Monday to Friday. So Becky, this could be your chance. Daniel Kidman
Yeah,
said, so going back to your success story, so Rob laid him down and mouth
yeah.
to mouth sucked the fat out of him. And that's a really weird thing to say. Oh dear. Awesome. Okay, that sounds really, really cool. So Rob, we'd like to hear a little bit more about your business journey and more about your kind of personal journey through it so
Yeah,
far. And I think it's going to be a really good one to hear as well, because I think personal training is a particularly difficult business, if I'm really honest, as we said before, in
yeah.
terms of competition and such. So first of all, can you tell us a little bit about what does success mean to you?
I think for me, success as a PT is like when you've got like a decent client base who all get good results, and you're not necessarily actively having to go out and market yourself because your clients are doing that for you. That for me would be success.
Yeah, I think referrals is a really huge part of our business, isn't it? If you're doing a good job with
Yeah,
somebody, and their friends and family can see it, then you get more people coming to you. That's awesome. And here's a great question. So you've been doing this, what did you say, 4.5 years?
so yeah, it'd be coming up to 4 years. It's like just under 4 years.
Okay. What advice would you give you if you go back in time? What advice would you give yourself when you first started out?
um, Invest more time on the gym floor and not so much time like on social media. So spend more time being active on the gym floor and chatting to people in the gym.
Yeah. And just for those who don't understand, what's the point of being active on the gym floor? for those who are not with PT?
So you kind of build that relationship with people just by offering them advice, getting to know them, so that you're the first person they think of when they do want to get a PT. So they might not necessarily want to buy from you straight away, but when there's that moment where they are ready, because you've made that effort to chat to them and offer them advice, they'll come to you.
Perfect. So it's all about building relationships, isn't it? Not being out there selling, and being the person sort of at the forefront of their mind. Awesome. Here's my favorite question. What's the biggest mistake you've ever made in business?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I don't think I've really ever made that many mistakes so far, touch wood.
Yeah. It's got to be something. So there's a
so
lot of small business owners watching that could be inspired by learning about somewhere where you've cocked it up and can maybe avoid that mistake themselves.
I think it's just trying to do too many different things at once sometimes. So it'd be like, right, okay, I'm going to do this and then we're going to do that. And rather than just trying to focus on one or two things. So it's like trying to be like, right, I'm going to do this little Facebook group and I'm going to charge this much to do that. And then I'm going to charge this much for online coaching. It's just like, it's trying to do too many different things, I think, rather than just focusing on, right, I'm just going to have one or two core products.
Yes, yeah, and I've done that as well. You spread yourself too thin and you can't focus. And I think a lot of business owners probably have fallen into that trap in different areas, different types of businesses as well, I imagine. Because it's very easy to do when you're excited and you've got all these ideas and you kind of just want to do everything all at once.
Yeah.
Awesome. What would you say has been the biggest challenge that you've had to face so far?
I think it's just like finding a way to consistently get new leads in. I think is quite tough especially like you said, because it's quite a competitive, saturated market, especially in gyms. Like average gym probably these days has at least 10 PTs that work there.
Yeah. What would you say works the best then for generating your leads? What have you learned the best?
So far it's just been going out and talking to people. So whether that be a networking meeting or just chatting to people in the gym.
Yeah. Daniel Gibbons' his biggest challenge
tonight.
Growing a beard. He is. He's just picking on you tonight, isn't he?
He's on top form.
So Rob, if someone was watching right now and they were thinking they'd quite like to work with you, whether that be face to face or online, what's going to be the best way for them to get in contact with you?
If they just go to my website, which is artleat-fitness.com, they can find everything about me on there.
Okay, awesome. In fact, I'm going to make it super easy for them. So it's www.artleat. I'm going to type it in artleat-fitness.com. Yeah,
that's the one.
Awesome. I'm going to make it super easy. I've typed that in. So if you wanted to check that out, artleat-fitness.com, and you can go and find out how to work with Rob there. So finally, can you please give us your 3 top tips around fitting exercise and a healthy diet into a busy schedule? I'm looking forward to hearing this one because I know it's a huge challenge for a lot of people.
So what I would say is it's doing the basics. So it's things like getting your step count up. It's having an active commute to work. So whether that be running or walking or cycling to work, that's what I do for my commute. I cycle into work. So you use that sort of like 30 minutes, an hour, or however long it takes you to get to work in the morning. You do something active then, and then that's a workout out the way. I'd say second tip is to make time for it, is to realize that everybody has the same 24 hours in a day, and that by doing a 1 hour workout, it only actually takes up sort of about 4% of your day, something like that. So if you have to, it's getting up earlier, or maybe going on your lunch break, or just finding a gym that's a little bit closer to where you live.
Awesome.
And in terms of like fitting a healthy diet into your schedule, like the third tip is it's all about preparing in advance. So cooking your meals in advance and then storing them in the fridge in little Tupperware containers. If you do that in advance, you make it a lot easier for you to eat healthy meals.
Yeah, perfect. And how would you recommend, say you've got a busy parent who's got a family to feed as well,
Yeah.
how would you recommend they fit it in? Because if they're just cooking into Tupperware stuff, then would their kids eat the same stuff, or is it would they be eating specific kind of things, or how might they work that?
I mean, it's probably good if you try and get the kids to eat a bit healthier as well. So,
Yeah,
that probably would make it a bit easier for you if you're like not having to cook a meal for them and having to cook a meal for you as well. So, yeah, if you do
yeah,
get the kids involved, that probably does make it a bit easier for you.
excellent. Daniel Kidman has a question. If you've got any more questions, guys, we're coming up to the question time, so please do pop any questions in. So Dan says, do you tend to cater better for women or men? I know there's a massive difference in results I get with women over men.
To be honest with you, the majority of the clients that I've had so far has been mostly men. I don't know why that is, but I have got female clients now. I haven't before, but the majority of my clients tend to be men. So I'd say
Yeah.
personally, I tend to work best with men because I think I relate better to men personally. But I won't say no to working with women because, like I said, I do have female clients, but I'd say the majority of the people that I work with tend to be men.
I think women do tend to want to go for female PTs more anyway, whereas I think men aren't so bothered. I know for myself, I've got a real
Mm.
mixture of male and female clients. I suppose it's maybe slightly easier being a female PT, because I think women do often quite have that preference. That's probably a reason why.
Yeah, I've had that before actually, where someone was like asked me about PT and then actually decided that they wanted to go with a female PT instead, which I don't mind, and I actually told them which PT they should go with.
Ah, that's really good. Yeah, and I think it's good when you can be open and honest with a client or a potential client and say,
Yeah,
if you feel better with someone else, and go with this person.
yeah.
Dan's got a good question. Do you teach IIFYM? So I'll explain that to the viewers in a second. Do you teach if it fits your macros to your clients? If not, how do you have them track their intake? So for those that are watching that don't know what IIFYM means, it's if it fits your macros. So it's a dieting method that says you can eat pretty much whatever you like as long as you're eating the right number of calories, the right amount of protein, carbs and fats. Those are your macros. As long as it fits within those numbers, then that's how you track it. So yeah, so do you teach that to all your clients? And if not, how do you have them track their intake?
I yeah, I like I said, I'd try and tailor it to them. So I'll ask them, I like, do you think if you were tracking your calories, you'd be able to stick to it? If they say yes, I get them to do it. If not, I ask them to try it, and if it doesn't work for them, then we maybe look at like, have you heard about the precision nutrition method, where you basically use your hands to measure out portion size? So their idea is that like one palm like that would be a serving of protein,
Yeah,
and then you've got like a cupped hand like that for I think that's carbs, and it's like a fistful of vegetables like that. So there's that method that people can do. Um, then it's just like visually looking and thinking, actually, that looks like quite a big portion size. So I'm like, send me photos of what you're having to eat, and then I can send them back feedback about maybe include
yeah,
more of that, less of that, reduce that portion size, etc. And then there's also things like intermittent fasting. So basically, you know, where you have a period where you don't eat. So I think it's something like 16 hours or something like that, and then you have
that's
a
it. That's what I'm
window of
doing at the minute.
8 or 4 hours where you do eat.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good one. Um, Daniel Kidman, I'd be quite interested to know, what do you teach your clients as well, in terms of diet? Do you do it if it fits your macros, or do you do other things? Because I think it's really important, as you know, as we both sort of said before, to give your clients a choice. Because things like tracking macros is, if your client can stick to it, it's pretty much guaranteed to work because it's really precise. It's really like you can't really get it wrong. But
Yeah,
adherence is really key. Not everyone has got the time or the inclination to sit there and track every single thing that they eat and work out all their macros and such. So for some people, something like intermittent fasting, that's what I'm doing at the minute, the 16/8 that you mentioned. So that you don't have to think so much about it. So that works really well for some people. But then other people would feel really, really crap going 16 hours without eating. So they would rather track their macros and stuff. So yeah, so I'm with you on that. Cool. So Dan says, does that method work for all? So I'm currently eating 3,500 calories a day. Oh, I'm so jealous of you. That's more than double what I'm eating. Rachel's intake would be less, I hope. Yeah. Would I just have more hands than her? Does that make sense?
I don't. I've only really like had a quick read of this precision nutrition method, but obviously everyone's got different size hands. So obviously for a man, your portion size would be bigger because you've got bigger hands. So I guess the theory is that like, yeah, I'm not quite sure how it works. I've only very quickly read into it and suggested it for one or two people that weren't too keen on the idea of calorie tracking. But yeah, there's like a guide you can download that tells you about it. So it does kind of tell you about roughly how many calories that would be as well, like based on the palm size. Yeah, I'd have to go and read it because off the top of my head, I can't really remember about how you adjust it depending on the person.
I think the difference here as well is your clients would probably be looking to lose weight, whereas if Dan's eating 3,500 calories a day, he's probably looking to bulk. That might not be a method that
Yeah,
you'd use for bulking. If you're bulking, you just shovel it in. You just eat as much as you can.
yeah, no. No, this method is more for like people who are wanting to lose weight. So it's about portion control essentially is what that is.
Yeah. I think it's a great method. And if you can teach someone how to balance a diet and how to just eat healthily, then that kind of portion control sort of thing works really, really well. I think it just needs a bit of education around healthy eating, clean eating, and then I think it can be. It's not one that I've used myself, but that's something I might. It's a good idea. I might add that into my repertoire. That's the right word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a free PDF that you can download from Precision Nutrition that explains about how to do it and like the difference between the portion size for men and for women.
Ah, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Dan says it's off season for me. Sorry, didn't mean to sound confusing. So does that mean you're bulking? So for those who are watching that don't know what off season and bulking means, so Daniel, you do is it bodybuilding? I'm sure it's bodybuilding he does, or some kind of fitness physique. So off
Yeah,
season
he's
means it's
competed as a bodybuilder. I know that much.
yeah. So I believe that off season is the time when competitors are no longer competing, but they're bulking, building muscle in between shows. If I've got that right. Dan's trying to keep as tech free as possible for all the muggles out there. We could talk about this all day like salads. Yeah, the three of us could just. It's a shame we can't have a three-way conversation and add him in.
I
um,
know. They need to have that as an option on Facebook.
oh, I'm sure they will one day. I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Awesome. Rob, so we come to the end of the questions. Is there anything else that you wanted to add in or anything you wanted to plug? You can tell us a little bit more about your online programs if you like, or anything else you
Yeah.
want to add?
I mean, another thing that I've done that I haven't plugged yet is the fact that I've got like a ebook that people can buy on Amazon. So it's just called 5 Ways Professionals Can Burn Fat. So it's all about basically like how people with a busy schedule can fit exercise and a healthy diet into their schedule. So yeah, if you just go on Amazon and type in my name, it'll come up.
Awesome. So go on to Amazon and type in Robert Leat and it will come up. My camera's gone all blurry all of a sudden. Oh, there we go. That's better. That's awesome. And how much is that ebook?
It's $4.99, so it's not a huge investment.
Lovely. That sounds awesome. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Rob, for talking to us today, for joining me on this edition of Quiz Your Biz. So you guys watching, please tune in next time on Friday at 1 p.m. for the next episode, where we will be interviewing Bex Kitchen about her business, Giftonomy UK. For all editions and to find out more, visit quizyourbiz.com. That's it from us. Thank you so much, Rob. I've really enjoyed chatting to you today.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.